What is one myth or misconception about your generation?
That we're all lazy and don't like to work.
I think they think we're slackers, and we're probably more hardworking than a lot of the boomers, other than, the millennials. So I think that's the misconception, is that they think we have it easier because we're older.
That we don't care, that we are apathetic. I think that we came up in a time when we were sort of conditioned not to care, following, the 60s and the civil rights and all of the protests that happened during that time. I think they really wanted our generation to just be quiet. And so, we were distracted in a lot of ways. We were in a lot of ways told not to care. But we really care.
Describe a monumental experience that you feel shaped or characterized your generation.
We were Nancy Reagan's war on drugs first victims.
It's probably the same answer a lot of people will give, but 9/11, because we lived through it. We saw it. I saw it happen while it was going on. It was just a devastating event. And we were kind of there firsthand to see it on TV happening live, and it just kind of shaped. And it's one of those things you just never forget.
It's really interesting. I think that AIDS is something that impacted our generation in a particular way that maybe doesn't get talked about as much today, and we don't think about it as much. We've had so many other sort of like viruses and health scares, but at the time, the way that it was approached and the way that it was handled politically and socially, I think was very traumatizing. And I think that I think it created a lot of challenges for our generation in particular ways. It also, I guess in some ways, elevated a lot of things that maybe up until that point weren't really getting attention. And so it was just a very difficult thing that I remember. Describe a personal moment of nostalgia from your childhood.
Oh, wow. Because like the first thing that came to my mind when you said that was a girl on my softball team got murdered. Maybe that's not what you're looking for. Softball was really big.
Like firecrackers. Because when I was, probably 12 or 13, I was in New Mexico. We would go to New Mexico frequently to visit family there. And of course, it's 4th of July. We're all popping fireworks. One's in my hand. I didn't let it go. Yeah, popped in my hand. I was iced for the rest of the evening. I stay away from fireworks now. So every time I see one, it's a little PTSD. But, I'm like, okay, you'll have fun, but keep it over there. Yeah. Not a great nostalgia moment, but,
It seems like so basic, but it was really playing outside in my neighborhood. I grew up on like a really traditional block, I guess, in the sense of it was just in a suburban neighborhood. It wasn't upper class. I guess it was, probably middle class. But the thing about our block is like we maybe had 20 houses on that block, and there were probably 36 kids. And I just remember summers where we would like divide like one side of the block against the other side of the block and have like massive like water gun, water balloon fights that would like, we'd be like in and out of each other's backyards and houses. And you could go into anybody's house and their mom would be there and like, be available to help you. And it was like this freedom of spirit that we got to experience. And it was just a short period of my life. It was like maybe 3 or 4 years, from like 7 to 10. But it's like I craved it for the rest of my life. Like I still do now. I still want to go outside and just play with like all my neighbors like that. It's like,
in what ways does your generation socialize? How do you connect with each other best?
I think Facebook is most Gen Xers' favorite way to socialize with each other. We don't necessarily want to see each other every day, but we don't mind like seeing about each other.
I think our generation actually talks to each other. We're not on our phones constantly. And granted, I'm in marketing, so yes, there's a lot of social media, a lot of digital stuff that I deal with daily. But I think our generation just kind of talks to each other. We use our hands a lot. We can actually talking and sitting and talking. You can socialize with a drink and still talk, and you're not in the corner on your phone or just secluding yourself from that. And I think we connect best when we talk, because I would rather pick up a phone and talk to somebody and get an answer rather than send an email, sit and wait, send a Teams message, sit and wait, especially if it's that quick and I can pick up the phone, call, get my answer and be done.
I don't want to like disservice my generation. Sometimes I feel like we don't. We sometimes isolate a little bit. But when we do socialize, I think we do in small groups and in really connected interpersonal ways. Yeah, I like to say I don't have like a lot of friends, but the friends I have a lot. And so I feel like that's true for a lot of people in my generation. I call my friends weekly, sometimes daily. I like to have really like that interpersonal connection. But yeah, it's a small group. It's a small select group. But I guess that's okay. It's perfectly okay.
What special qualities do you notice in each of the other generations? Baby boomers.
Closed-minded or reluctant to change, reluctant to, change.
Baby boomers are very family oriented because they grew up, as their elders. Because my mother is 72. My grandmother would have been 90 this past year. So we're very family oriented anyway, but I think the boomers see that and want that for the generations that follow. And it's harder for the younger generations to accept that because they see it as being old fashioned and it's too much tradition, and they want to step out of that. And so I think the boomers are very traditional and family oriented.
It's that they're traditional, and I mean that in literally the best way. There's a comfort in that for me.
Millennials
are bad fashion.
Millennials, that's hard because, like I said, my daughter is a millennial. She's a very hard worker. She's dedicated. She's punctual. But then I see others who are they're penny pinchers. They're but they don't like nice things, but they only want to spend it on the nice things, not be frugal about it, but it's not cheap. They don't want cheap things, but they don't want to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on things, but they still want it to look nice. So I think they're more of a penny pincher type, but want nice things kind of.
I think millennials are awesome. I mean, I've worked with so many. They've had to put up with so much, and they really, their attitudes to me are just so committed and focused. And it's hard. They're the hardest one for me to come up with one quality because I think they've been underrated. That's their quality. They're underrated.
Gen Z,
little judgy.
Titled. I have a son, and I remind him daily that he's not entitled. He may feel that way. And, I notice I work with a lot of Gen Z, and it's on their time. They, like we spoke earlier about being scolded. If you tell them what to do without asking them what to do, it's like they're being scolded or, made to feel guilty. Or sister's thing tonight, oh, you're making me feel guilty. No, that's just the right thing to do because she's your sister or your dad or whatever quality to have. But I think they feel more entitled than most.
Gen Z is going to change the world, and Lord let them. Like, they excite me. I think Gen Z wants alignment, and I think that they will help us find it if we let them. But I think they may do it even if we don't.